भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय।
जय।
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
जय।
रामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय।
जय।
कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय।
श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय।
जय।
ब्रज भूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय।
जय।
नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय।
जय।
पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय।
जय।
गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। भक्त देवी की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 12, Birth of Emperor Parikshit. Text 25. Dhritya bali samah Krishne Prahlada iva sadgraha ahartaishoshva medhanam vriddhanam paryupasakaha. Dhritya bali samah Krishne Prahlada iva sadgraha ahartaishoshva medhanam vriddhanam paryupasakaha. Dhritya bali samah Krishne Prahlada iva sadgraha ahartaishoshva medhanam vriddhanam paryupasakaha. Please chant.
Hare Krishna. Dhritya bali samah Krishne Prahlada iva sadgraha aharte shoshva medhanam vriddhanam paryupasakaha.
Hare Krishna. Dhritya bali sama Krishne Prahlada iva sadgraha ahartaisho swamedhanam vriddhanam paryupasakaha.
Dhritya bali sama Krishne Prahlada iva sadgraha artaisho swamedhanam vriddhanam paryupasaka.
Hare Krishna. Good, Mataji.
Please go ahead, Mataji, and I can do it.
Dhritya bali samah Krishne Prahlada iva sadgraha आहर्तेषु स्वमेधानां वृद्धानां पर्युपासकः. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, धन्यवाद. धृत्या बलि सम कृष्णे प्रहरादा हि वसद्ग्रहा आहर्तैषु स्वमेधानां वृद्धानां पर्युपासकः. Hare Krishna.
धृत्या बलि समय कृष्णे प्रहरादा इव सद्गृहा आहर्तैषु स्वमेधानां वृद्धानां पर्युपासका.
Thank you very much. Word to word translation. Dhritya, by patience. Bali samaha, like Bali Maharaj. Krishna, unto Lord Sri Krishna. Prahlada, Prahlad Maharaj. Iva, like. Satgraha, devotee of. Aharta, performer. Eshaha, this child. Ashvamedhanam, of Ashvamedha sacrifices. Vriddhanam, of the old and experienced men. Paryupasakaha, follower. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. This child will be like Bali Maharaj in patience, a staunch devotee of Lord Krishna like Prahlad Maharaj, a performer of many Ashwamedha horse sacrifices, and a follower of the old and experienced men. Purport. Bali Maharaj, one of the 12 authorities in the devotional service of the Lord. Bali Maharaj is a great authority in devotional service because he sacrificed everything to please the Lord and relinquished the connection of his so-called spiritual master, who obstructed him on the path of risking everything for the service of the Lord. The highest perfection of religious life is to attain to the stage of unqualified devotional service of the Lord, without any cause or without being obstructed by any kind of worldly obligation. Bali Maharaj was determined to give up everything for the satisfaction of the Lord, and he did not care for any obstruction whatsoever. He is the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, another authority in the devotional service of the Lord. Bali Maharaj and the history of his dealings with Vishnu, Vaman Dev, are described in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapters 11 to 24. Prahlad Maharaj, a perfect devotee of Lord Krishna, Vishnu. His father Hiranyakashipu chastised him severely when he was only 5 years old for his becoming an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. He was the first son of Hiranyakashipu, and his mother's name was Kayadu. Prahlad Maharaj was an authority in the devotional service of the Lord because he had his father killed by Lord Nrsingadev, setting the example that even a father should be removed from the path of devotional service if such a father happens to be an obstacle. He had 4 sons, and the eldest son, Virochana, is the father of Bali Maharaj, mentioned above. The history of Prahlad Maharaj's activities is described in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam tam sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Dhritya Bali Samaha Krishne Prahlada Iva Sadgraha Ahartaishoshva Medhanam Vriddhanam Paryupasakaha. Dhritya means patience. Yeah. Dhritya Bali Samaha. So in patience, this boy is equal to Bali Maharaj. Krishna Prahlada Iva Sadgraha. So he is Sadgraha is a devotee. Yes. He is a devotee. He will be a devotee of Krishna like Prahlad Maharaj. He'll be such a strong devotee as Prahlad Maharaj. And then, of course, Aharta means he is the performer. Who? Eshaha, this boy. Aharteisho Ashwamedhanam. He will be the performer of Ashwamedha sacrifices, many Ashwamedha sacrifices. Vriddhanam Paryupasakaha. Vriddhanam means, you may say old people, but that means predecessors. Yes, experienced people, those who are senior to him, those who are before him. He's going to be a follower. Paryupasakaha. Upasana means to worship. Paryupasaka means he will follow in the footsteps of the previous predecessors. So what is the context here? Parikshit Maharaj. So of course, why we are even discussing Parikshit Maharaj here, this is so these qualities are of Parikshit Maharaj. This child will be like Bali Maharaj in patience, staunch devotee of Prahlad Maharaj. Who is this child? This child is Prahlad, Parikshit Maharaj. So who's speaking about Parikshit Maharaj? These are the Brahmanas. So at the time of the birth of Parikshit, and if you want to go one more step back, then why we are even talking about Parikshit Maharaj? So this is the conversation between the sages at Naimisharanya. Shaunakadi rishis are inquiring from Suta Goswami. So just the previous chapter ended with Lord Krishna returning to Dwaraka. So they want to get back to the topic, to their original question. They wanted to know about Parikshit Maharaj. So now they had questions about Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is spoken to Parikshit Maharaj. So they want to know about Parikshit Maharaj. We already read how he was protected in the womb by Uttara. In brief, we had heard, when we read about Kunti's prayers, there we saw how Parikshit was protected. So now the sages are asking, we want to hear about Parikshit Maharaj, why he gave up everything. Yes. Just tell us more about his birth and also about his activities and why he gave up everything like that. So this chapter started off with discussing about Yudhisthira Maharaj, how the whole description there, he was in such opulence, yet he was not attached to any of that thing. So that hints the glorious position of Yudhisthira Maharaj. What kind of a devotee was he? When you don't have anything, and then because you don't have anything, you just remain as a good person, because you don't have an opportunity to commit you don't have anything to squander, and but he had everything. He was the emperor of the whole world. He had such opulence that even the denizens of heaven used to talk about him. Still, he had no attachment for it. So Parikshit Maharaj is born in that line. His grandfather is Arjun, and Arjun's elder brother is Yudhisthira Maharaj. So Parikshit Maharaj's grandfather, Yudhisthira Maharaj, is such a great devotee. And on how we also read in the womb, when he was in the womb of his mother, Ashwatthama had thrown the Brahmastra, and Krishna protected Parikshit Maharaj. So there's a whole description of Parikshit Maharaj, the embryo in the womb of his mother. He saw Krishna protecting him, and throughout his life he was actually Parikshit, examining, looking for the same person. And then there's a description of his birth, when all the zodiac signs were auspicious. At an auspicious moment, Parikshit Maharaj took birth. And Yudhisthira Maharaj, on the birth of his, now who is this Parikshit Maharaj? He is the only surviving heir to the entire dynasty of the Kurus. All the Kauravas are dead, and the Pandavas' sons were also all killed in the battlefield, in the battle of Kurukshetra. So the only surviving heir is this Parikshit. So Yudhisthira Maharaj, first of all, there is this, he gave in charity profusely to the Brahmanas. And he is performing this Jaata Karma ceremony. Jaata Karma means at the time of the birth, they do the horoscope of the child, and they will tell of the future activities of the child. So in this, the Brahmanas, being very satisfied with the charity, they told Yudhisthira Maharaj that your grandson, he's going to be a great devotee of the Supreme Lord. Then Yudhisthira Maharaj inquired, that's okay, that's good, but will he be like the other kings that have appeared in our line? Will he be as religious as them? Will he increase the fame of our family like him? Like that. So then the Brahmanas started to actually mention each of the, some of the prominent members in the line. So they said, this son will be just like Ikshwaku. This boy, he will become just like Ikshwaku in maintaining all living entities. He will be just like Lord Ramchandra in following religious principles. He will be like Shibi Maharaj in giving charity, as a donor of charity, and in giving protection to the surrendered. He will be exactly like Maharaj Shibi. He will be like Arjun. Amongst all bowmen, he will be just like Arjun. Like fire, and like fire, unsurpassable like ocean, irresistible like fire when he enters the battlefield, like that. And then he will be like lion, he will be like the Himalayas, and ultimately he'll be like Krishna. He will be like Lord Shiva in being one who is very, very pleased and who can give benedictions. He'll be like Shiva, and he will be just like Lord Krishna. How will he be like Lord Krishna? By following Krishna's instructions. So this is very significant, that when we follow Krishna's instructions, when we take shelter, so when we take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, then we actually, Krishna becomes captured in the heart of that devotee. And we know Krishna has all opulences. Aishvaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasashriya, Jnana and Vairagya. All 6 opulences are present unlimitedly in Krishna. And such Krishna is in the heart of the devotee. So this devotee, because he has surrendered everything to Krishna. And also in the purport we read, what is the quality of devotional service? It's causeless. Such a devotee is not performing devotional service because he wants something in return. It's causeless. He's simply doing the devotional service to please the Lord, not because he wants something in return. Either material, spiritual, nothing. He's doing it simply to please the Lord. And the second thing is, his devotional service is not obstructed by any other activity, anything other than bhakti. It shouldn't be interrupted. It should not be interrupted by any material fruitive activity, or it should not be interrupted by any jnana, right? Trying to acquire jnana. Simply pure unalloyed devotional service. So this is the quality of pure devotional service. This is the standard of pure devotional service. And Srila Prabhupada says in the purport that this is the highest perfection of religious life. So people follow religious life in various capacities. Somebody who's following the religious principles to get some material result, he's also practicing religious life. He's showing some obedience to the scriptures. But what is his motivation behind that? By being obedient to the scriptures, let's say I will do my Sandhya Vandanam right on time, or I will water Tulsi Devi every morning. I will offer water to Lord Surya every day, or like that. But the motivation behind that is, by doing this, everything will be good in my family. No one will fall sick. No one will have untimely death. So on and so forth. So he's also leading a religious life. But is this religious life causeless? No, it's not causeless. You're expecting some return. Or even someone may say, so that I can go to Swarga. After dying from this world, I will live in great opulence. And ultimately someone may say, I will be liberated. I will merge into the Supreme and I will become that Supreme. So all of these are not the highest perfection. They are still considered religious, but it is not the highest perfection of religion. The highest perfection of religion is pure unalloyed devotional service, where devotional service, we are performing devotional service not for getting anything in return. And also that devotional service should be uninterrupted, not interrupted by any fruitive activity or any jnana sadhanas, nothing. Purely devotional service, 24/7, either through body, mind, or speech. One of these three, 24/7. If I'm engaged in devotional service, that is the highest perfection. That is called Ananya Bhakti, or Kevala Bhakti, or Shuddha Bhakti. That is the goal of life. We want to do that. So, yeah. He will be a great devotee. So I was saying that why, when somebody becomes a devotee like this, an Ananya Bhakta of the Lord like this, a pure devotee of the Lord, he literally, Krishna gives himself to such a devotee. This devotee purchases Krishna. He captures Krishna in his heart. And then all Krishna's opulences are available to this devotee. But remember, his devotional service is He is not rendering devotional service so that one day he will capture Krishna and he will have all the opulences of Krishna. That's not his motive. He's not doing it for that. This is the beauty. You do it selflessly and you get everything. You will become, so in Srimad Bhagavatam, actually in the next part of Prahlada Maharaj, we are going to read about Prahlada Maharaj, but in the 7th canto, we come across, after reading about Prahlada Maharaj, this saintly person, there's one saintly person. He has taken up the occupation of a python, Ajagara vritti, it is said there. That means a python does not go here and there. It just stays in one place. And the food has to come to the python. If any animal, something comes, then it will eat, but it won't go hunting after the prey. So a transcendental personality who realizes that I'm not this body, I don't have any duty to perform in this world, he will actually, but that is one of the ways, right? Like Rishabh Dev also did that. He accepted this Ajagara vritti. They'll just stay in one place. Everything right there, right? No going anywhere like that. So when Prahlada Maharaj once happened to travel all over the universe with his associates, and he came upon this saintly person who was covered with dirt laying on the ground, and everyone else, people didn't recognize who he was. People didn't recognize. Even those who knew him before didn't recognize him. But when Prahlada Maharaj came upon this person, immediately he saw, this is a self-realized saintly person. Prahlada Maharaj offered his obeisances. And he asked him some questions. So that person, saintly person, he became very pleased with Prahlada Maharaj. He was very happy to hear the nectarian words of Prahlada Maharaj. There were some inquiries, but it was as if there was a shower of nectar on him. Why? Because this saintly person could see Prahlada Maharaj as a very exalted devotee. And then he said, Prahlada Maharaj, because you're such an exalted devotee, you can see things as they are. To the external vision, what appears to be very wretched, you are able to see with transcendental vision because you have surrendered your life to Krishna. So in that purport, Srila Prabhupada explained that exactly what I told you just now, that the Lord is the master of all 6 opulences, and a devotee is carrying that Lord in his heart. So the opulences of the Lord are available to the devotee also, like that. So therefore here, in the previous verse, we saw the Brahmana said that this child will be just like Lord Krishna. Just like Lord Krishna, it's not like the Mayavadis would think that, Aham Brahmasmi Namo Narayanaya, right? That means they address each other as you are Narayan, I am Narayan, I have become. Not like that. By surrendering their lives completely, by attracting Krishna. How is Krishna attracted? Krishna is attracted by this pure unalloyed devotional service. By attracting Krishna, now they have all the opulences of Krishna. And the only way Krishna can be attracted is through pure unalloyed devotional service. So anyone who has this type of pure unalloyed devotional service, all the qualities of the demigods are available to him. They appear in his person. All the good qualities appear in this person. In this material world, people endeavor to cultivate good qualities. Yes. But if somebody is sincerely engaged in serving the Supreme Lord, in rendering pure unalloyed devotional service, then all the good qualities, they manifest. They're all personalities, So they are more than happy to come and reside in this devotee. All the good qualities. So these qualities we are seeing here. Because Prahlada Parikshit Maharaj is a great devotee, he was protected by the Lord himself. When he was in the womb, he was supposed to have been burnt his body. But because he was so dear to the Lord, because he was such a great devotee, the Lord personally came and rescued. And therefore Parikshit Maharaj gets the name Vishnu Rata, one who is protected by the Lord. And that's why he has all these wonderful qualities. And he has, Yudhisthira Maharaj also wanted to know if he would have, because for someone to be the emperor of the whole universe, emperor of the whole planet Earth, he should have that type of, that quality to be able to guide the entire world on the right path. To be the leader, he should have those qualities. So Yudhisthira Maharaj was concerned, will he have all the qualities to be a good ruler? So yes. And then here is a comparison of these qualities. This quality like this personality, this quality like that personality. And in essence, he will be just like Lord Krishna by following the instructions of Krishna. So here, the quality that we are seeing is this child will be like Bali Maharaj in patience. Let's try to understand what is patience. In Sri Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami states, Utsahat Nishchayat Dhairyat Tat Karma Pravartanat. So Utsahat Nishchayat Dhairyat. Dhairyat means patience. So there Srila Prabhupada explains what is patience. Patience means, first of all, you know what is to be done. You get an instruction. Of course, instruction from whom? From the Shastra, from the spiritual master, from sadhus. What is pleasing to the Lord? And then you carry out that order. You carry out that order regardless of whether you see the result immediately or not. Just like we are asked to chant, we take vows to chant 16 rounds every day. Now, initially when we first come, we just love to chant Hare Krishna. Everything is so wonderful because we are just coming out of the material world. Material world is so miserable. And we come in the association of devotees. We are very enthusiastic to do everything in Krishna consciousness. But that's also actually a special mercy of the Lord, that everything is so pleasing and we are not qualified. We are not qualified. But Krishna is giving us that taste in Krishna consciousness. And after we come and stay for some time, now we have to actually show, prove that I want this. So, Utsahat, Nishchayat, Dhairyat. Utsahat means enthusiasm. Nishchayat means confidence, and Dhairyat is patience. So, patience, even though you may not be feeling ecstatic, still you continue to do it. You may not see the results manifesting immediately, still you don't give up the service. That is called patience. So, Bali Maharaj, he sacrificed everything, right? So there are 9 processes of devotional service. So Bali Maharaj exemplifies Atma Nivedanam. He offered everything he had to Lord Vamandev. And he offered everything to Lord Vamandev. And one second. Bali Maharaj offered everything to Lord Vamandev. And so that statement about pure devotional service, it is causeless. He's losing everything. In order to serve Lord Vamandev, he's losing everything he had. And then it also should not be obstructed by anything. That bhakti should not be obstructed by anything. So when he was offering everything to the Lord, there was an obstacle in rendering that service. That was his spiritual master, Shukracharya. Shukracharya was obstructing Bali Maharaj from offering everything to the Lord. What did Bali Maharaj do? He even gave up his guru. And the Lord tied him up after giving everything. So the Vamandev asked for 3 steps of land. And in the name of 3 steps, he practically took everything away. All the, upper, middle, lower planetary systems, everything he just took away from Bali Maharaj. And then he tied him up, saying that only 2 steps you have given. What about the 3rd step? He was humiliated in front of all his ministers. His grandfather Prahlada Maharaj was there. Practically in front of all great personalities who were assembled. He was humiliated. He was tied up. And Bali Maharaj was still firm in his vow of rendering pure unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. He was patient. He didn't become angry, or he didn't give up. Oh, what's the use of, in spite of doing everything, still there is no appreciation. What is this? No, he was patient. He continued on. So in Srila Prabhupada's example, Srila Prabhupada was given this instruction by his spiritual master to take this Krishna consciousness in the English-speaking language all over the world. So Srila Prabhupada first, when he came to America, that first year, it was so difficult. He didn't have a place to stay. He had no acquaintances. He had no friends who would support him. He was practically on his own, moving from one place to another, wherever he would get. But he didn't give up. Carrying out the instruction that was given to him, wherever possible, he kept on trying. Even though there were no results. It's not like as soon as Srila Prabhupada came, people started joining and then it started expanding. No, what to speak of when he was on the Jaladuta. And who is Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada is a, Mahabhagavad devotee who had come here to save the whole world. But still, he was tested. And how gloriously he passed those tests, exhibiting the quality of patience. So in Nectar of Instruction itself, there Srila Prabhupada says about patience. Patience means you continue with the orders that are given to us by the spiritual master, even if you don't see the result. So it is actually connected, right? The Nishchayat and Dhairyat. Dhairyat is patience. Nishchayat means you have confidence. So you continue with the process with full confidence that I may not see the result today, but this process will work. I must continue on because it's coming in the Guru Parampara from Krishna. It must work. It may or may not happen in my lifetime, but if I stick to this process, this is the best thing I can do. Patience. So that's the quality of patience in Bali Maharaj. And about Prahlada Maharaj also faced a similar situation. So all these qualities are actually the qualities of a pure devotee, being patient. So about Prahlada Maharaj, it is said that Parikshit Maharaj is just like Prahlada Maharaj, in that he is a very staunch devotee. A staunch devotee, again, that is the principle, is that Ananya Bhakti, that is the principle. You don't let anything to obstruct your devotional service to Krishna. And by the way, Srila Prabhupada also said that my devotional service to Krishna cannot be obstructed by any material circumstance. It cannot be, because even if I'm not able to do it physically, I can always take shelter of Krishna with my mind. And if my mind is uncontrolled and my mind is running here and there, I can always at least vibrate with my tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna is very, very merciful. He didn't make it very difficult. He made it very easy, actually. If I really want to do it, I could do it 24/7. He has not given us something which is impossible. No, this is a principle which is universally applicable for everyone, regardless of our conditioning. The only thing lacking is my desire, right? I may say, well, I desire, but it's not happening. It's not happening means I don't have enough faith in this process. I still have faith in other things. That's why I'm not able to take shelter. But if I wanted to, it's available to me with all my conditionings, whoever I may be, either through my body, through words, or my mind, one of the three. I can render pure unalloyed devotional service. So we have such examples. So Prahlada Maharaj, he was only 5 years old. He was engaged in worshipping the Supreme Lord. His father was a demon, Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu was always trying to obstruct Prahlada. He was trying. He was not able. He never succeeded in obstructing. But he was always trying to obstruct Prahlada Maharaja's devotional service. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is saying that Prahlada Maharaj, he got his father killed by Nrsingadev. Yeah. So therefore he is a great authority. Prahlada Maharaj was an authority in the devotional service of the Lord because he had his father killed by Lord Nrsingadev. He's an authority. That means apart from affection is certainly there, but also dharma, right? You're supposed to be, you should have that gratitude. I got this life because of my father and mother. So dharma is, now when I become able, I must take care of them. If I get my father killed, what kind of a person am I? Right? I'm even remembering the gopis, right? They gave up. They would be ridiculed forever. They would be shunned in the society because that type of behavior, leaving their homes in the dead of night to go and meet another man, they would lose all their respectability. They would be looked at as prostitutes, but they didn't care. They were only concerned with serving Krishna, pleasing Krishna. That's the best thing. It's not just not bad. It is the highest perfection of religion. And Prahlada Maharaj, dharmic people may say, what kind of a boy is, or at least, the other demons would have said, what kind of a person, boy is this? He got his father killed. How can you call this devotion? But the understanding of those who are acharyas, advanced, this is an authority in bhakti. So his bhakti will not be obstructed by anything, by jnana, karma, affection to family ties, or anything else. So these are the examples. So Bali Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj will have patience like Bali Maharaj, and he will be a staunch devotee like Prahlad Maharaj. Staunch means a very fixed up devotee. And a performer of many Ashwamedha sacrifices. Ashwamedha sacrifices because he's a king. Krishna himself had Yudhisthira Maharaj perform 3 Ashwamedha sacrifices. So by these Ashwamedha sacrifices, he's actually purifying all the people, the whole world, so that they can actually progress in their spiritual path. And the last point is, he's a follower of the old and experienced one. This is very important. You will always see a great person is he who follows in the footsteps of his previous predecessors. Mahajano yena gatasya pantha. Right? He follows in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. You can see the history of all our great teachers, acharyas. That is actually, that's also a test, right? If somebody, I think it was Srila, I forget. I think it was Sri Ramanujacharya. I'm forgetting now. I heard in a lecture that once I forget, maybe it was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Maybe I shouldn't quote it, right? I don't remember. But it was something like one person said that, the disciples came to the spiritual master and said that there's a great devotee of Lord Ram in this area. All the people worship him. He's very exalted. He's such a nice devotee. And we want you to come and see him. So then this guru, he said, I think he met him and he asked him, are you a devotee of Lord Ramchandra, or are you a devotee of Lord Ramchandra's devotee? So he said, no, I'm a devotee of Lord Ramchandra. It's just Lord Ramchandra and me. So this guru, it's either Ramanujacharya or Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I'm forgetting. But he said, he's bogus. Immediately, he's bogus. Again, how he has this transcendental vision? Because he himself is a great devotee, so he can see. An ordinary man cannot see. We just go by the external things, right? Oh, he's such a nice devotee. He has tears in his eyes when he sees. But someone of that level, an advanced devotee can actually see things as they are, because they have that transcendental vision by the grace of the Lord. So following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas is very important. So Parikshit Maharaj will be a follower of the old and experienced men, it is said. Even in that Upadeshamrita, there are 6 do's and 6 do nots. So in the 6 do's, the last one is, one must follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Like that. So I will stop here. Thank you very much for your attention. If there are any questions or comments, we can take. Yes, Kalpesh Prabhu, Sonia Mati. Kalpesh Prabhu and Sonia Mataji, you're raising your hand.
Yeah, I was somehow struggling to find the button. Thank you. Thank you for your class today. Really appreciate all the points. I like the patience one. I don't have myself one. So, yeah. So my question is, one who does not have the intellect illumined, meaning not get enlightened, and now he's seeing the world with the instrument of like senses and getting and acquiring through that subject of sense is to see the sense objects. And at that time, our like natural thinking is a natural way of perceiving it is when we engage in that activity of looking, seeing, hearing. Obviously, our mind likes to go into that subject, and then we start thinking about that subject matter, and understanding that would it be possible, because there are principles where in the Gita it says there is a summer and then there is a winter, so everything is changing all the time and it's not permanent and you have to be fixed in me. So sometimes the mind likes to give the dictations of its own philosophy about the subject matter, what you are engaging into it. So at that time, would it be advisable to not start thinking about that subject, instead divert your mind and do the chanting, because which has the higher potency, like thinking or doing this? Because if I start thinking and I start having the opinions about others, I'm still not seeing Krishna in them, because Krishna is present everywhere, right? So I may do the hatred part or something like that. I don't know. So which has the higher potency? I wanted to just weigh in that.
Yeah. So thinking and even speaking and doing with our hands and legs, whatever we do, right now they're imperfect. Our senses are imperfect. So with imperfect senses, whatever we do, that's going to be imperfect. Like the mind, for example, right? The mind is telling us, giving us opinions about this and that. So that has to be purified. So yes, you must chant. So by chanting, you will become purified, and with purified intelligence, then you're able to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. But how that purification is coming? So chanting is non-different from the holy name of the Lord is Krishna himself. So you are associating with Krishna when you're chanting. It's not a mechanical thing. When we chant Hare Krishna, we are associating with Krishna. It's the same principle. When you associate with Krishna nicely, then his qualities will rub onto us. Then we will be able to see things in light. So you're correct. If the mind is telling me about judging others and so many things, just drop everything, pick up your beads and start chanting Hare Krishna and hear the Hare Krishna sound vibration.
Yeah, because I'm lately experimenting with myself on that. Not to have opinion is the best way of, because I'm not pure, I'm not perfect, that's why. Because I don't know what would be the Krishna's plan on that. So thinking that way gives lot of relief. In many,
Yes.
it keeps us very it gives us, and it makes us energized more to our activities. That's how I'm seeing it. That's why I wanted to know, is it wrong to do that, or
no? It's the perfect thing to do that. You will never go wrong. Under any circumstance, just pick up your beads and you chant. And when you're chanting, you're actually with Krishna. You're taking shelter of Krishna. That's the safest position to be in. If you're able to do that, nothing like that.
Yeah, still I feel like I'm not mechanical. I feel that way in myself because I know I'm not doing it right way. But
never mind. It's okay.
But I like
the sound is still Krishna. Whether I do it mechanically or not, he's still there. So he will act.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Mataji, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, like Kalpesh Prabhu said, this mind and everything, it's not in our control, but we have to bring it back. Like you're saying, hearing, when we're chanting, if hearing, it is making you do loud. It is very good. But sometimes, if you sit inside the house, doing like loud, disturbing somebody, so we have to think a calm place, and then we have to do it. Like he said, even Krishna said to Arjuna that, these things are like winter and summer, and the patience is the thing, like a matras pashes to kaunteya, sitoshna sukha dukkhala, agma anityas, tiksha bharata. So he said, like, that Kalpesh Prabhu was saying, that he was saying that matras pashes something, sitoshna sukha dukkhala. He was saying, he had that in his mind. So, like that, even Krishna was saying that these come and go, but we have to be, this is the tolerance we need to have, which is lack on me too. Like Kalpesh Prabhu says, I don't know about other people, but I don't have patience like my children themselves. They say, Mom, you need to have just quiet and quiet. You need to think. They are telling me, I know that is a wrong thing. I don't have that, but still I'm practicing. So I don't know what to say about tolerance.
Prabhupada says that Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna, and Prabhupada says Tarorapi Sahishnuna is not easy. It's very difficult. To be tolerant like a tree, it's not easy at all. It's very, very difficult. So
Kalpesh Prabhu is not the only one. I am with him. So we do have sometimes, we think that is wrong, but still, sometimes, we just do it that way. I don't know why. And I pray God, Krishna, to give me tolerance.
That brings back to our point in the shloka, patience. Even though we don't see result, we just have to keep trying, knowing that if we keep chanting, if we keep taking shelter of Krishna, trying to render pure unalloyed devotional service, all these wonderful qualities will come in us one day. For sure, Nishchaya, with confidence, we have to continue like that.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you. Yes, Dronachari Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mother Arcanabhakti. Thank you so much. Wonderful class. Very, very nicely laid out and, very easily followed. Thank you. So I was thinking in terms of patience, and you've done so very nicely, but just from the hearer's side, sometimes we think in patience of our own personal life, and it's about our own material desires. So we think, we may hear this and say, okay, yes, it's a reminder that I have to be patient and not get angry at people, or I have to be patient and just wait my turn in line, or I have to be patient. So that's always there, but then there's the patience in terms of devotional service and following Krishna's order. And that's something, obviously a much higher principle. So I guess distinguishing between, the patience of our material desires, I guess would, it seems to me at least would be in a different category, because, the way Krishna would handle that may be different than the way Krishna would handle, the patience in executing a devotional service. Can you maybe just talk about the different, just so we're not confused and thinking of it in terms of so this may, the teaching of patience that would fall, I guess, within the category of fulfilling one's own material desires versus the patience of fulfilling or executing devotional service.
Yeah. Patience, in this world. But Prabhuji, I feel, or my observation is that somebody who is actually patiently rendering devotional service, following the duties of the carrying out devotional duties patiently, that will also reflect in his dealings in this world, in the material dealings also. And if it is not yet reflecting, that means he still has ways to go in his carrying out his duties in bhakti patiently. Externally, it may seem like, so there are different levels. So externally, yes, I've chanted my rounds and I've done this, but, internalizing that. And of course, Krishna gives us enough tests. So I wouldn't see them as two separate things, because for a devotee, there is no, separate material life and spiritual life. If we look at the personality of Srila Prabhupada, it's not like he's a different person when he's amongst the devotees and he's a different person when he's amongst the materialistic people. He's the same person. He's a perfect gentleman under all circumstances. So someone who's actually following the devotional principles properly, and if he's exhibiting the quality of patience in bhakti, my understanding is it will certainly reflect even in his material dealings. So looking at it from another point of view, if we say, if I'm simply nice in this world, I'm, waiting in my line, for the others to go ahead of me, and, I'm not getting angry. So therefore, I'm also automatically following the devotional principles. No, that would be only superfluous. That would be just superfluous. Actually, this is the test. If we are actually following the devotional principles properly, then the qualities will be reflected there. Or if you're seeing such godly qualities in others, that means they must have some devotional quality. It may not be the way we see it. It may not be like the person has tilak and he calls himself a Hare Krishna devotee or not. But Srila Prabhupada said that he will have some sense of God consciousness. Harava bhaktasya kuto mahad guna. It is not possible to have any good qualities if you are not a devotee of the Lord. So if you see genuine qualities of patience in someone, then to the vision of a devotee, he actually sees Krishna consciousness in that person. That person may or may not know it, but actually he has that. I will give you an example. Like once a cleaning lady had come to our house, and she was a Mexican. And just from her work, I was just observing her from morning, and she was there until she came around 10 o'clock, and she cleaned until past 8, almost 9 o'clock in the night. And she did her work so meticulously. I could see, the work that she was doing it with her heart. It was not like, not a business deal or anything. She was actually doing a thorough job. And I appreciated it so much. I didn't talk to her at all throughout the whole thing. I was just observing her. And I was so impressed. I was thinking, my God, this is Krishna consciousness, Like you preach with your behavior. Without saying a single word, you can preach to the other person. She didn't have tilak or anything. But the interesting thing is, when the whole thing was over, my husband was not at home. He came from work in the night. When he came back, I was telling him, she was still cleaning. She was doing the basement, she was finishing up. And I told him, my God, she's so good. She's so nice. And then when she came up, I hadn't told her anything about Krishna. She went to the altar, Krishna's picture, she was cleaning nicely. and the kitchen, everything, thorough job. I was so pleased. And if I told her to do anything else, she was not, getting irritated or anything extra. Also, whatever I said, she would just do it. And then when the whole thing was over, my husband started telling her about, this is Radha Krishna, he's the Supreme Lord, so on and so forth. She didn't even understand English, by the way. She couldn't speak English. She could only speak Spanish. And if we said something to her in English, it would record in her phone and it would translate to her. Then she would understand what we were saying. And obviously she couldn't tell us anything, just with her eyes, with her gestures. And then my husband said, you bow down. She went and bowed down in front of Krishna after cleaning all day long. And we said, this is the Supreme Lord. She went and completely bowed down. Now, what would you call that? Is that a devotee or not? She is a devotee, certainly a devotee. And then we gave her prasadam. She was very grateful. She was very thankful. And after doing all that, she didn't demand any extra money or anything. But she just stole our hearts. So we just gave her, whatever we could, whatever we had, we wanted to give her. So from this, I understood that day that devotional service is a quality of the heart. So if you see such qualities in someone genuinely, then you understand there is Krishna consciousness in that person's heart. That's my comment, Dronacharya Prabhu.
Thank you so much for that explanation. I think that is that's good. Good. I'm glad you explained it in that way. Yeah. The nature of my question, came from that. When we think of like patience, we think of the motherhood values. What our mother told us. Our mother told us, you be patient and you wait your turn and you wait like this.
Yeah.
And naturally, those will, if they're not there, they will develop as we begin to practice.
Correct.
The principles of bhakti.
Yes.
And then even going even deeper, it will fully, be manifested. When we're executing devotional service, and it may not just be on the personal level of one-on-one interaction, but we'll treat our relationship with Krishna, with great deep patience and and faith.
Even Srila Prabhupada, the things that he introduced in Krishna consciousness, not all of it was just exactly what he learned from his spiritual master. Many things which he taught is what he learned from his mother, about cooking, about cleaning and things like that. So, whatever is coming down traditionally shouldn't just be disregarded as this is not Krishna consciousness. We should see how this can also be. This is also Krishna consciousness. How this is Krishna. She's seeing the connection. How this can also be Krishna conscious. So, especially these values that we learn from our elders, that's also coming in the verse, right? He was a follower of the old and experienced men. So what our elders have taught us, if they are in line with Krishna consciousness, why not just take them also? And just, Krishna consciousness is very vast. It's not, so narrow. So there's room. Anything which is in line with Krishna consciousness, why not? We can just keep them. And because we are also practicing, chanting direct devotional service, then we will actually see the connection, how all that fits very well in bhakti. Like that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. It's getting late. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your comments and
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasim patita pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.